Good morning, dear students. Hope you all are fine and safe at your home. So from today I will begin with a new system, and that is a excretory system. You can also call it as a urinary system, or it is also known as a renal system. So let's start with this system. So first of all, what is excretion means? So the word excretion, literally it means the removal or elimination of any substance or any matter from a body of an organism. So now there are various organs that are acting to remove the substance from the body in the human beings, like a lungs, kidneys, GI tract, that is the gastrointestinal tract, and the skin. But today our focus, or from today onwards, our focus will be on the kidneys, because unless and otherwise specified, the excretory system means it is the excretion by the kidneys. So now before going to that actual excretory system, what is the importance of excretion? So excretion, it helps in regulation of the body fluid osmolarity and the volume. Then it also regulates the arterial blood pressure. It also helps in regulating the electrolyte balance in the body. It helps in regulating the acid base balance. It also excretes various metabolic products and the foreign substances. Okay, and also certain organs of the excretory system are helping in a production or a secretion of certain hormones. So now our focus, it is on a kidney. Excretory system, unless and otherwise specified, it is always a urinary system or the renal physiology. So let's start with our today's topic, that is a functional anatomy of the kidney. Certain learning objectives of the today's lecture. That means at the end of today's topic or this topic, you must be able to at least list the functions of the kidney. You must know basics of the nephron and the difference between the two types of the nephron that we will learn. You must be able to know about the structure of the glomerular filtration membrane. Also, you must be able to have idea about the basics of the juxtaglomerular apparatus. So just before going to our detail in our today's topic, just have an idea about the various functions of the kidney. So this is just a narration of the functions of the kidneys, all the functions that you will come as we are proceeding with this system. So the various functions in brief are the excretion of metabolic waste product and the foreign chemicals or foreign bodies, regulation of the water and the electrolyte balance, regulation of the arterial blood pressure, regulation of the acid base balance, regulation of the erythrocyte production, regulation of the calcitriol production, that is vitamin D3, and also kidney has a function with the gluconeogenesis. So before going to the anatomy of the kidney, just have an idea about the various components of the urinary system, that are the organs of the excretory system. So just you can look in this figure, the primary organs of the urinary system are the two kidneys that are present retroperitoneally in the posterior abdominal wall, one on each side. So these kidneys will continue as a longitudinal tubular part on both the sides, and that are known as a ureter. That ureter, it will attach to the urinary bladder. Okay, and that urinary bladder, it will continue as the urethra. Okay, so the main function of the kidneys is to form the urine. So urine that is formed by the kidney, it will pass on via the ureter into the urinary bladder, and then it will be emptied or it will be excreted via the urethra. So the most important, it is about the gross anatomy of the kidney. So these are the two kidneys that are present retroperitoneally. Okay, and you can see here, these are the structure that are attached to the kidney. Okay, so one are the renal arteries that are entering the kidney, then the renal veins that are exiting the kidney, and with that you can see these are the two tubular structures that are the ureters. So now look at this picture of the kidney. So kidney, it is basically bean shaped organ with a concavity on the medial side. Now here is the superior pole, these are the borders. Okay, here is the inferior pole, and this portion, that is the medial concave portion of the kidney, it is known as a hilum. Okay, so it is a depressed concave portion from where the ureter will leave the kidney, and where the arteries are entering and also the veins are leaving the kidney. So this is a hilum, and this is the initial portion of the ureter, that is known as a pelvis of the kidney, or it is also known as a renal pelvis. So average weight of the kidney, it is around 150 gram, okay, in a healthy adult person. So kidneys are covered by a renal capsule. So they are covered by the renal capsule, and here the renal hilum where the ureter will leave the kidney. So this is the most important here to learn, that is the internal structure of the kidney. So this is a cross section of the kidney where you can see the internal structure here. So broadly, the internal the kidney is divided into two portions. One is the outer portion, okay, this outer layer that is known as a renal cortex, and the inner portion that is known as a renal medulla. So this is the outer cortex, that is the thin portion, and this portion that is a renal medulla. Okay, so outer renal cortex, it is basically a granular in the appearance, and it is a thinner than the inner medulla. Okay, why it is a granular in appearance? That is because of the presence of the large number of the glomeruli. Okay, so glomeruli means that is the initial portion of the nephron. Now basically the kidneys are made up of the large number of the nephrons, so that are the microscopic unit of the kidneys. So you can see these are the nephron. This is an enlarged portion of the nephron. So there are millions of this type of the nephrons are present in within the kidney. Okay, so now nephron, the initial portion of the nephron here, okay, that is known as the glomeruli. Okay, so the most of the glomeruli of the nephron that are present in the renal cortex. So this renal cortex basically it is a granular in appearance, while this is a renal medulla, that is the wider portion or thicker portion, and it is a striated in appearance. So you can see these are the longitudinal striations that are seen here. That is because of the presence of the longitudinal portion of the various tubules of the nephron. Okay, so again you can look at here, this is the glomeruli of the nephron, and these are the tubules of the nephron, so that are present longitudinally here. So that will give a striations in the inner medulla. Okay. Now again this medulla is divided into the various masses, conical masses, that are known as a renal pyramids. So there are number of the pyramids. So these are the pyramids that are present in the renal medulla. So now this renal pyramids basically contains the tubules of the nephron. So now these tubules of the nephron, ultimately they will terminate at the renal papilla. So this portion you can see, this is a renal papilla. Well, all the tubules will terminate here, and they will continue as a minor calyces. So this is a renal papilla, and here you can see these are the minor calyces. Okay, so this renal papilla, they will continue as a minor calyces. Okay, so the whatever things that have been formed by this nephron, ultimately it will be poured into the minor calyces via the renal papilla, and this number of these minor calyces, they will continue as a major tubular structure, that is the major calyces. Okay, so you can see here these various or multiple minor calyces, they will combine to form a one major calyces. Similarly here. Okay, and all these major calyces, they will ultimately combine or join to form a renal pelvis. So this portion, it is known as the renal pelvis. Well, all the major calyces, they will join to form a combined structure. Okay, and this renal pelvis, it will continue as a ureter. Okay, so these nephrons that are basically concerned with the formation of the urine. So urine that will be poured here in the minor calyces, then into the major calyces, and finally into the renal pelvis. And from the renal pelvis, it will be transported via the ureter into the urinary bladder. So this is the internal structure of the kidney. Now coming to the microscopic structure of the kidney, that is again very important to learn. Okay, so the microscopically, the kidneys contain the nephron that are a tubular structure, then the blood vessels, then the lymphatics, and the nerves. So out of these, this term is very important to learn, because this nephrons, it is the basic unit of the kidney. Okay, so you can look at here the nephron, it is the structural and the functional unit of the kidney. And in a healthy adult person, each kidney contains around 1.2 millions of this type of the nephrons. And these nephrons are basically hollow tubes that are composed of a single cell layer, and each nephron, it is capable of forming the urine. So urine that has been formed by the kidney, it is the function of these nephrons. So this is the structure of the nephron that you can see here. This is a one nephron. So beginning from here, This is the primary portion or initial portion nephron, and then these are the various tubular part of the nephron, and here it will ultimately end into the renal pelvis. Okay, so this is the structure of the nephron that is surrounded by the various blood vessels, arteries, and venules, and also the lymphatics. So this is just a brief revision that we have discussed till now. These are the components of the urinary system, and this is the internal structure of the kidney. Now you know that the nephrons are the basics of the kidney functions. So you must know in detail about the basic anatomy of the nephron. So this is the nephron that you can see here, that is the tubular structure or a hollow tubular structure present within the kidney. So this nephron anatomically it is divided into basically two portions or two parts. One is the renal corpuscle and another is the renal tubules. So this initial portion of the nephron that you can see here, this is the renal corpuscle, and these hollow tubular or longitudinal structures that are the renal tubules. Okay, so we have to discuss the nephron in these two broad portions. First we have to learn about the renal corpuscle, and second is the renal tubules. So this how the nephron are looking under microscopically. So this initial portion, that is a renal corpuscle, that is a rounded tuft of the renal capillary, and these are the tubules, various tubules, that is a tubular structure of the nephron. So now let's study the various part of the nephron. So the first portion, that is a renal corpuscle, also known as a Malpighian corpuscle. So that is basically a rounded structure that is comprising the glomerulus surrounded by the glomerular capsule. So you can see here, this is the renal corpuscle. Okay, so this portion, inside portion, that is a rounded tuft of the capillary network, that is known as the glomerulus, that is present within this cup-shaped end of the renal tubule, that is known as a glomerular capsule. Okay, so now you know the blood flow to the kidney, blood supply to the kidney, it is via the renal arteries. Okay, so now here from this, the blood is entering to the kidney. That means this is the efferent arterioles that is supplying the blood to the kidney, and these are the efferent arterioles through which the blood will live. So between this efferent and the efferent arterioles, there is a multiple dividing capillary network that is making a rounded tuft. So this round tuft of the capillary network, it is known as a glomerulus, and this is a renal capsule. So whole of this portion, it is known as a renal corpuscle. So now coming to the glomerular capsule. So glomerulus, that is basically a rounded tuft of the capillary network, and the glomerular capsule. So this glomerular capsule, it is a blind cup-shaped end of the renal tubule. So these are the proceeding part of the renal tubule. So initial portion, that is making a cup shape, that is known as a glomerular capsule. So it is basically having a three layer, visceral layer, parietal layer, and in between these two layers there is a Bowman's space. So you can look at here. So this is the glomerulus. Okay, and this is the inner layer of this glomerular capsule. So that is known as a visceral layer, and this is the outer layer of the glomerular capsule, that is known as a parietal layer. So this parietal layer, it will continue as the renal tubules. Okay, and between these two layers, this parietal layer and the visceral layer, you can see this space. This space, it is known as a Bowman's space. So the blood that is flowing through this glomerulus, that is filtering through this portion, through this membrane, and it will be poured into the Bowman's space, and then that will be transported via the renal tubule. So this is very important to learn, that is the glomerular filtration membrane. So this is the membrane through which the plasma or the blood, it is getting filtered by the nephron. So this glomerular filtration membrane, it is made up of the three basic layers. One is the capillary endothelial cell layer, second is the basement membrane, and third one is the food process of the podocytes. So blood is it filtering through this membrane. Okay, so here you can see again, look, this is the glomerulus, that means the capillary network. This is the visceral layer of this Bowman's capsule. So these both things, they are making a filtration membrane. Okay, so the inner layer, that is made up of the endothelial cells of this glomerular capillaries, that is known as capillary endothelial cell layer. And then this outer layer, that is a visceral layer, that is made up of the epithelial cell of the kidneys. So that is known as a food process of the podocyte, and in between these two there is a basement membrane that is made up of the glycoprotein. So you can look at this microscopic structure. So suppose there is a glomerulus, that is a capillaries, so that is surrounded by the endothelial cell. So this is a capillary endothelial cell layer. Then here are the visceral epithelial cells of the Bowman's capsule. Okay, so this, and in between this visceral layer, that is also known as food process of podocyte, and this endothelial cell layer, there is another layer that is known as a basement membrane. So that is basically made up of the glycoprotein and the mucopolysaccharides. So these three basic structure, it will make the glomerular filtration membrane through which the plasma is filtering into the renal tubule. So this is all about the renal corpuscle. Now coming to the renal tubules. So there are various parts of the renal tubules that you can see here. Okay. So this portion that we have learned, renal corpuscle, and then the first proceeding part of the nephron, that are the renal tubules, you can see here. Okay. So overall the total length of each renal tubule, it is around 45 to 65 millimeter, and this type of millions of the nephrons are present in the kidney. So now the first and the initial portion of the renal tubule, it is the PCT, that is known as the proximal convoluted tubules. So this is the glomerular capsule, and that will continue as a renal tubule, that is a convoluted portion. So it is known as a proximal convoluted tubules, because it is not straight, it is convoluted, so it is known as the convoluted tubules. So average length, it is around 15 millimeter, and diameter is around 40 micrometer. Then that proximal convoluted tubule, it will continue as a straight, okay, downward and upward, okay, loop, that is known as the loop of Henle. Okay, so this is the downward loop, that is a descending portion, and there is a curvature here, and this is the ascending portion. So this whole blue colored portion, it is known as a loop of Henle. Okay. Then it will continue as another convoluted portion, that is known as a DCT, distal convoluted tubules. Okay, there is basically a short portion, then the PCT and the loop of Henle, and that will continue finally as a collecting duct system. So proximal cortical collecting duct and the medullary collecting duct. So this is the collecting duct, and this is the end of the nephron. So ultimately these tubules, it will do its function of the filtration, secretion, and finally the fluid that is leaving this collecting duct system, it is the urine that will be poured into the calyces, then into the renal pelvis, and it will be transported to the ureter. So now we will learn in brief about the basics of the various tubules and that brief function. So let's start with the first, that is the proximal convoluted tubules, that is the initial portion of the renal tubule. So this portion, it is having a maximum reabsorption capacity. So most of the things that are filtered through the glomerular membrane, they will be reabsorbed from this portion of the tubules. Now the specificity of these tubules is that the renal epithelial cell that are lining these tubules are having a microvilli, having the brush borders on the apical membrane as well as on the basolateral membrane. So these are the microvilli. That means here the membrane, it is not plain. Cell membrane of this epithelial cell is not plain, it is having a multiple fine projections. So that are known as the microvilli. So it is also known as a brush border. So this brush border, it will increase the surface area. So these tubules, it will allow maximum substance to be reabsorbed from this thing. Okay, so this is the renal epithelial cell. So this is showing the microvilli or the brush border. Then the loop of the Henle, so it is containing downward portion, that is known as a descending limb, and upward portion, that is known as ascending limb. So descending limb, it is basically thinner, so it is also known as a descending thin limb, and the ascending portion, you can see it is having initial thin portion and then the thick portion. So it is known as a ascending thin limb, and this is a ascending thick limb. Then the distal convoluted tubules. So as this loop of Henle end, it will continue as the distal convoluted tubules. So these tubules are basically having a cells that are quite different from this portion, and they are relatively impermeable to the water. They will not allow the water to be reabsorbed. And then finally the collecting duct system. Okay, so the outer, this portion is basically present within the cortex, but this portion will lie into the medulla. Okay, now this distal convoluted tubules, this portion of distal convoluted tubules, and this collecting duct system, it is having a two type of the epithelial cell. Okay, so one are known as the P cell and second are known as the I cell. So P, that is the principal cell, and I means intercalated cell. So P cells, that is basically involved in the sodium reabsorption and also the ADH induced water reabsorption, while the I cell, intercalated cells, that are basically concerned with the acid secretion and the bicarbonate transport. So detail we will learn during the further lectures. So now broadly, there are two types of the nephron that are found in the kidney. So one are the cortical type of the nephron and second are the juxtamedullary nephron. Okay. So just you can look for here, the cortical nephron and juxtamedullary, they are so named because of their location basically, and also depending on their function. Okay. So this look here, this is the cortical portion of the kidney and this is the medullary portion, inner medulla and outer thin cortex. So the nephrons that are lying within the cortex, look at this is the nephron, maximum portion of this nephron, it is lie within the cortex. So this type of the nephron are called as a cortical nephron, while this nephron that are bigger than this and maximum portion that is lying within the medulla, so this type of the nephron are called as juxtamedullary. So these are known as a juxtamedullary because here the glomerulus and the initial portion is lying near the medulla junction of the cortex and the medulla, so they are known as the juxtamedullary nephron. So just see the basic difference between these two nephrons. Okay? So this is the cortical nephron and the juxtamedullary. The first is the location of the glomerulus. So in the cortical nephron, they are present within the upper portion of the cortex, while here in the juxtamedullary, the glomerulus are present near the junction of the cortex and medulla. So maximum type of the nephrons within the kidney are cortical, so that is around 85%. Okay, and juxtamedullary, they are near about 15%. Size of glomeruli in the cortical is small, here it is a larger. Size of the loop of the Henle, here it is a short, while it is a larger, it is longer. Ascending limb of the loop of Henle, it contains thick segment only, but here in the juxtamedullary, it contains both the thin as well as the thick segment. Efferent arterioles that are present around these cortical nephrons, they will break up into the peritubular capillary, while here in the juxtamedullary nephron, the efferent arterioles, they will continue as a vasa recta. Rate of filtration, here it is a slow, here it is a high, and the basic function of this cortical nephron, it is the excretion of the waste product in urine, while the juxtamedullary nephron, it is a concentration of urine by a counter current system. So now I hope that you are clear about the two types of the nephron, the cortical nephron and the juxtamedullary nephron. So the significance of these two types of nephron that you will come to know as we will proceed with the further lecture of the kidney. Now coming to the another important part of this kidney, that is known as a juxtaglomerular apparatus. So this is basically a collection of the specialized cells near to the glomerulus, and that is a major component of the renal angiotensin aldosterone system. So this JGA or a juxtaglomerular apparatus basically comprise of the three types of the cells. So one are the juxtaglomerular cells, then macula densa cells, and the mesangial cells, also known as a sickle cell. So you can look at this picture. So this will make you clear about the juxtaglomerular apparatus. Now see, you now know that this is the glomerulus. Okay, efferent arterioles and the efferent arterioles, that will be the glomerulus. This is a glomerular capsule. Okay, and then these are the renal tubules. Now this is a loop of Henle, and loop of Henle, it will ultimately continue as the distal tubule. Okay? Now look at this, the distal tubules, when it will pass, okay, through this near to this glomerulus, it is basically coming in contact with the efferent and the efferent arterioles. Okay, so जब डिस्टल ट्यूब्यूल्स का जो इनिशियल पोर्शन है आपने देख रहे हैं यहाँ पे, वो एफरंट और इफरंट आर्टियोल्स के बीच में से पास होगा, एंड इट विल कम इन कांटेक्ट विद both these arterioles, efferent as well as the efferent. Okay, so this junction जहाँ पे distal tubules का initial portion will come in contact with this efferent and efferent arterioles of the same renal corpuscle or the same nephron, this is known as a juxtaglomerular apparatus. So you can look at this enlarged portion. So this is the efferent arteriole, this is the glomerulus, and this is the efferent arterioles, and at this angle, the distal convoluted tubules are passing and they are coming in contact with this angle of these two arterioles. So these the epithelial or the cells, modified cells of these three structure, they will combine to form a structure known as a juxtaglomerular apparatus. Okay, so these are the cells of the distal tubules. These are the cells of the afferent arterioles. Okay, so they will become a modified at that region. Okay, and so that modified cell, it will make a juxtaglomerular apparatus. So this is the same structure that you can look here. More enlarged structure. This is the afferent arterioles, this is the efferent arteriole, and at the angle this is the distal tubules that is passing and coming in contact with this. So these are the modified shell of this renal tubule, distal convoluted tubules, so that are known as a macula densa cell. This modified shell within this region, they are known as a macula densa cell, while the modified shell of this afferent and the efferent arteriole, that are known as a juxtaglomerular cells. Okay. And in between these two, this macula densa cell and granular cells, you can also see another type of the cells that are known as the mesangial cells or the Lasik cell. Okay. So these three type of the cell, modified cell, they will combine to make a structure that is known as a juxtaglomerular apparatus. Okay. So what is the function of this JGA? Just have a brief idea. So one is the juxtaglomerular cell. So that is basically concerned with the secretion of a hormone renin. Okay. And that renin is concerned with the activation of renin-angiotensin system that is involved in the regulation of the blood volume and the blood pressure. Then second are the macula densa cells. So that are basically acting as a chemoreceptors, or they are acting as a sensor rather. Okay. So that will detect the change in the rate or the volume of the flow of a fluid within the tubules and also the composition of the tubular fluid. Okay. And it will provide the feedback signal to the glomerulus to change the rate of filtration, and that will finally control the glomerular filtration. Okay. That means glomerular membrane में से कितना filtration हो रहा है, that will depend on this sensor system. Okay. So in detail again we will learn during the regulation of this glomerular filtration. Then the third type of the cells that are a Lasik cell or a mesangial cell. So that's basically they are concerned with the relaying of the signal from the macula densa to the granular cells, and they can also secrete the renin and the erythropoietin. Okay. So thank you very much. So this is all for today's topic. Okay. Have a nice day.